What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the PikaPikaPaPa, and my friend the Unicorn, because you know what? The reality is we probably have better odds of finding a unicorn in real life than finding what we're going after in this video today. And that's because what we're going after is really, really hard to identify, right? Like, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for some Sword and Shield cards and PSA 10 slabs that I think have the opportunity to outperform the broader market moving into the future. And again, of course, that's really hard to do. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would have Pokemon riches. But the reality is, if everybody could do it, the cards wouldn't be worth much in the future because everybody would already have them. That's the key. Like, that's the hard part of this, is you have to identify a trend, or you have to find something that will get hot long before it does, because that's how real riches are made in any type of investing space, whether it's the stock market or real estate, right? Like, I bet we all wish we could go back and buy Apple or Amazon at their IPO, but we can't. So finding these things early on is incredibly hard. And if nothing else, this video was just a ton of fun for me to put together. So, you know, when I'm trying to do something like this, I have to put parameters in place. We've got to start with this huge, amazingly awesome world of Pokemon cards, and we got to try and narrow it down, right? Because if we don't do that, we're just going to get lost in the awesomeness. So some of the things that I'm looking for here: I'm looking for a low-ish PSA population, and by that I mean 2,000 or less. Think about it. This channel has 4,400 subscribers right now. Really, really small channel. So if it's less than 2,000 or right at the 2,000, that means if everybody who's a subscriber to this channel wanted the card, less than half of them would get it. So I think 2,000 or in the 2,000 PSA range is a really, really solid jumping off point. And then, of course, I want the big names in the Pokemon hobby. Like, I understand that sometimes you can get some lesser known, or, you know, some underloved PSA 10 cards of different Pokemon characters, and they can sometimes give us, you know, the opportunity for big price appreciation. But here, for this video, for this set, I like investing in the big names. It gives me a sense of safety. I think it helps me form a bottom, and I believe that those are the ones that in the long run, when in the long run, I'm saying for a video like this, I'm talking 5, 10, 15 years, I think the big names are the ones that give us the best opportunity for some big price appreciation, right? Then I'm looking for cards from the big sets from the Sword and Shield era. Like, even if I find a big name Pokemon with a really low PSA population, but it comes from Sword and Shield base, or it comes from, you know, I don't know, Darkness Ablaze, right? Or any of those lesser known or lesser loved Pokemon sets from the Sword and Shield era, right? I just don't want them. I think that the sealed product performing well is going to have a correlation to the singles cards in that set performing well, again, 5, 10, 15 years down the road. Now, I want things to be at least 2 years old. I did a video a while ago where we talked about the best time to buy PSA 10s, and we said we don't really know the best time, but it certainly seems like over the last couple years, if you wait 2 years to buy those cards in PSA 10, the population has seemed to calm down, the prices seem to calm down. So for this exercise, I'm looking for cards that are at least 2 years old. And then I want cards with a little bit of love. I want cards that the market shows a little bit of interest in now. And I've also formed a bottom. You know that I am a big believer in finding support lines for the cards, because listen, I'll tell you this. I heard somebody say the other day that Pokemon cards have a floor. Pokemon cards don't have a floor. They can very easily go to zero. Like, we all need to be aware of that. Now, do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. I think the odds of that happening are infinitesimal. But I also don't believe these cards have a ceiling, right? They can just continue to go up and up and up for all of eternity, you know, and you can pass them down from generation to generation, but I don't think that they have a floor. So I do say this: when I look for support lines, I'm looking for current support lines. Doesn't mean they can't break below that in the future, but I certainly like to see that the market is holding strong at a certain price point now. And then again, I'm thinking that if all of these things are checked, and if I can just find some cards that match all this criteria, they might have the opportunity to outperform. Now, I am not looking at Sun and Moon for a reason, just like with the stock market. Like, sometimes you have a stock where the future value of that stock is already baked into the price today. I feel like a lot of the future value for some of the Sun and Moon stuff is baked into the price today. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're still going to appreciate in value, but at least for me, I'm steering clear of Sun and Moon. And I will say this: listen, if you all find value in this content, if you like it, let me know in the comments down below, because this exercise, although it is a ton of work, I combed through tons and tons of individual cards to do this list. I would be happy to do it for maybe black and white or XY, but you have to let me know that you find value in it. I don't always ask for that, but because there's so much work that goes into it, if y'all don't like it, I'm not going to do the work. And as I said in the very beginning, listen, at best, this is a guess. At worst, this is nothing but a prayer. There's no guarantee these cards are going to outperform, but I do think that if we put some parameters in place, at least we can feel really good about the future prospects of some of these cards. So as I said, hey, if you're interested in those other views, drop it in the comments down below. If this type of approach gets you excited, hit that subscribe button. And if you like what you see, I appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. I got a small channel. Those 3 things go a long way in helping me out, and I really appreciate it. So with that being said, I'm going to start off with actually my favorite cards on the list, okay? And these are the two other promos. I call them the other promos from the Pokemon, or from the Celebrations Ultra Premium Collection, because, you know, those metal cards get all the love, right? The metal Pikachu, the metal Charizard, and rightfully so. Those cards are freaking awesome. They're really hard graders. But these two cards right here are really hard graders in and of themselves. Now, I would not love the Pokeball if it wasn't for the Pikachu V. I like these in PSA 10s because I would want to sell these as a set in the future. And guess what? When you look at the overall populations, they are incredibly small. That Pokeball card right there, there's only 500 of them in a PSA 10 holder right now. So if you want to have both of these cards in a PSA 10 holder as part of your, I don't know, Celebrations collection, or if you're like me, you just think it's really cool, you only have 500 opportunities because there's only 500 of the Pokeballs in PSA 10 right now. Now, the Pikachu V, there is 1,122 of them, but when you think about the price for these in PSA 10 compared to the rarity and compared to the pop numbers, like that Pokeball is going for $45. The market does not love it. They think that is absolute trash. $45 for a PSA 10 from a Celebration set, and it's a Black Star promo, and the population is only 500, is absolutely crazy low. And then even that Pikachu V, right, again, less than 1,200 of these in existence. Black Star promo, Celebrations, from an Ultra Premium Collection box that I don't think is going to get ripped very much in the future, so I don't think a lot more of these are going to come into the hobby. And an Ultra Premium Collection box that just wasn't printed like the recent ones are, right? Charizard UPC printed into the ground. The Mew 151 UPC is printed into the ground. I'm sure whatever the next UPC is going to be printed into the ground as well. But this Celebrations UPC just didn't see that kind of print volume. So all of those reasons make me feel really, really good that these two cards, again, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, I think they could really be worth a ton of money. I love that Celebrations is an anniversary set. I love that these come from that Ultra Premium Collection. I love that, man, the population is super low. Again, I wouldn't love the Pokeball if it wasn't for the Pikachu card, but I think together in the future, the opportunity to sell these is going to be through the roof, and I absolutely love these, and I think they're a steal. If you could get both of these for 150 bucks right now in a PSA 10 holder, I think you would be very, very thankful you did, again, way further down the road. Now, the next one that I'm looking at, we start to get into some interesting stuff here. So, this Mew V from Fusion Strike. First off, you know how bullish I am on Fusion Strike, and Fusion Strike just flipped to sold out on the Pokemon Center, which is a good thing, right? We've already seen people FOMO, right? The booster box price spiked real high, then it's come down a little bit and it's starting to settle, which is what we expect, right? Everybody who missed it, FOMO'd, they go out, they buy it on the secondary market, prices spike, but now those who are FOMOing haven't, it's going to start to level out. But I think Fusion Strike in the long run is going to be an epic set. I like that this card right now is number 5. It's the 5th most expensive card in Fusion Strike, but if you look at the other 4 cards ahead of it, I could easily see this card into the future moving into the number 3 spot. Now, I think number 1 and number 2, those are obviously shorn up, but I do think that this could slide into the number 3 spot right now. And I will say this, here's this, the PSA 10 population is relatively low for this. Remember, 2,200 PSA 10s of this card, which I think is a great number. There will be more Fusion Strike that is opened. It is still an ultra modern set, right? And even though the booster box price is up, it's only at $165, which I don't think is like an Evolving Skies booster box, where I think you'd have to be crazy to open that up because the Evolving Skies booster box is going to be worth $1,000 someday. Fusion Strike might be, but it's going to take a whole lot longer. So there will be more of these that come into the population over time. But again, this card is 2 years and 4 months old, right? And the PSA 10s are only going for about $100 right now, which is about 3.5, 3.8 times raw price. So that's really interesting to me. So the raws are going to run you a little less than $30, and a PSA 10 is going to probably run you a little less than $100. But when you think about the future prospects for Fusion Strike, when you think about the overall population of this card right now, the fact that Fusion Strike is sold out on the Pokemon Center, all the momentum and excitement around Fusion Strike as a whole, again, when I think 5, 10, 15 years down the road from now, I think this card in a PSA 10 holder could be really, really valuable, and I think it could easily move into the top 3 from Fusion Strike, and that's why I have this one on the list. Now, next one right here. This is a really interesting card here because I was on the fence. Now, there is no shortage of cards that could be on this list, right? So I had a whole bunch that made it to the final round, but I decided to put this one on here for a couple of different reasons. First off, the question is, can Chilling Reign stay hot? And I will tell you this, ever since it flipped to sold out on the Pokemon Center, the singles cards, which I was worried about, have remained hot, all of them. Like, it is a really strong set from a single card price point. Now, the question is, can it stay hot for the next, I don't know, 18 months, 24 months? Like, will the single those cards be able to retain their value? Well, this card, you know, it's 2 years and 9 months old, so it absolutely could. And look at the support line that this one is holding. It has been at that $40 price point really since, I don't know, July of 2023. The market has said, unless something fundamentally changes, this is at worst a $40 card, and I absolutely love it. I love that it's an alt art. I love that it's Zapdos. Whenever we do our most graded cards at PSA, we do that view every single month. Zapdos is almost always on the list, so there is a ton of collector interest in this Pokemon. Plus, it's an alt art. We all think that Sword and Shield alt arts have a very, very bright future. And the other thing that's really exciting to me, there's less than 1,500 of these in PSA 10 right now, and it's going for under $100, which is only 2.5 times the raw card price. So you can buy this raw for $42, or you can spend less than $100 and get it in a PSA 10 case, and that PSA 10 population is less than 1,500. This is one of those examples where if I want this card, I think it is Looney Tunes to buy it raw. Why wouldn't you just save up another couple weeks or another month or whatever, spend a little bit more than twice the money and get it in that PSA 10 case, right? Like, that is the best way to preserve the card from a, you know, just from a condition standpoint, and to kind of lock in your opportunity for future price appreciation. So I love the fact that this card is an alt art from one of the very biggest Sword and Shield era sets. I love the fact that it has this very solid support line at the $40 mark. I love the fact that the PSA 10 population is so low, and that it comes in at under $100 already in a PSA 10 case. Man, if alt arts go crazy and if this starts to get big, I promise you this card is going to see a big, big run in the future. So all of that combined is why I ended up with this card on the list right here. Now, this one right here, okay, this was my flyer. You all know I always like to do a flyer, and this is the 5th card on this list, and we're only talking about 5 cards. So here it is right here. So this is really a bet on Brilliant Stars. Now, Brilliant Stars is not sold out yet on the Pokemon Center, but the price for Brilliant Stars booster boxes on the secondary market is at or higher price than the Pokemon Center. So what we typically see when that happens is that the Pokemon Center usually sells out pretty close after that, because why would you pay more on the secondary market when you could pay less and get it at the Pokemon Center? Even though the whole world doesn't have access to it, a big part of the buying market does. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Brilliant Stars sell out at some point relatively soon here in the US and the Pokemon Center. Who knows when it's going to happen, but what you're betting on here is you're betting on Brilliant Stars and its future, and a lot of people are really bullish on Brilliant Stars, right? Like, you've got, it's a Charizard set. It has some stunning trainer gallery cards. Like, matter of fact, there's 2 Sylveon trainer gallery cards. One is a VMAX and one is a V. The reason I like this V better is, first off, I like the art on this one better than the VMAX, but the other thing that I like is this has half of the PSA 10 population as the VMAX. There's over 2,000 of those VMAX trainer galleries in PSA 10. There's only 1,050 of these in PSA 10, and these are going for less than $50 right now. I mean, you talk about a card with just about as low a downside as you could possibly get. It's this right here. It is from what I think is going to be one of the biggest and the baddest sets from the Sword and Shield era. I think trainer gallery cards have a very bright future in front of them. Sylveon is obviously one of the big names in the Pokemon hobby. You can get this for less than $50 right now. The PSA 10 population is only 1,000. It's over 2 years old. Like, check, 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 check all the boxes. Again, is this going to be a $1,000 card someday? Absolutely not. But do I think that this is an incredible time to get in on this card? Do I think that this card has a very bright future? And if we start to see Brilliant Stars booster boxes go up over the next 5-10 years, if we start to see trainer galleries get really hot, I think this card is going to organically go up. And if you can get this card in the $40 range, which I had the opportunity to do the other day, and I did, and I absolutely can't believe it. If you have the opportunity to get this card in the $40 range, honestly, I think that there's absolutely zero downside risk. Like, a PSA 10 card like this in the $40 range, I think there is as little downside risk as you're going to find, and this is an absolute epic pickup. So listen, guys, those are the 5 cards that I kind of use my parameters to come up with. There's a million other cards that could be on this list. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down below. I love unicorn hunting, and I am actually going to be doing some more of this in the future. So if you have any specific eras or sets or things that you'd like me to go after, let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoy this type of content, hit that subscribe button. If you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You all are the ones who make the PikiPikaPaPa channel. It is what it is, and I appreciate you more than I can say. Hope you all have an epic one. I'll talk to you soon. See you, everybody. Bye.